All right, good morning, guys. So there was a recent issue about Steem and the Steemit community, right? So, of course, Steemit is a social network or interface that is built on the Steem blockchain, right? And the CEO of Steemit Incorporation or Incorporated is Ned Scott. All right. So what happened was that after Dan Larima left, Ned Scott, few months or few years later, sold Steemit to Justin Sun. Now, someone might say, is it possible to sell a blockchain? Not really. Ned didn't sell the blockchain, but what happened is this. So he sold Steemit. Steemit is an application that is built on the Steem blockchain. So, and Steemit is the most popular way to access the information that is on the blockchain, on the Steem blockchain. So there are other ways, such as busy.org. So if you make a post through Steemit, you can actually view the post through busy.org, and you can also make a post through busy.org, busy.org. All right. So after selling Steem off, the community was like, oh, you can buy Steemit, but you cannot buy Steem. Steem is the blockchain. Steem is the application. And then a few days ago, I think yesterday, there was an issue. Now, what was the issue? All the top witnesses were voted out. Yep, the top 20 witnesses were voted out. You might wonder, what was a witness or who is a witness? Now, in blockchains general as a whole, you have people that, in quotes, run the network, right? So in proof of work, they are called mining pools or miners, but for Bitcoin, they are called mining pools and miners. So the miners vote for the mining pools. Get it? So miners use their hash rate, vote for mining pools. That is why I call proof of work delegated proof of work, because these miners are contributing their hash rates to vote for mining pools. So that is why I call it delegated proof of work, not just proof of work. And for DPoS, it's kind of different. Now, now of course, for POW, which is proof of work, excuse me, the token holders, or should I use Bitcoin as an example, Bitcoin holders or Bitcoin Cash holders, they have no say in the network. That means it's not really inclusive. So if you have a Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin, you can't really directly or indirectly say what happens on the network, right? So you just sit and watch what is happening in the scene. So the only guys that can vote for who becomes a mining pool are the miners. So there are thousands of miners around the world voting for mining pools, right? So delegated proof of stake, delegated proof of work. Now for DPoS, it's different. So for DPoS, everybody, including those who have the coin, have a say in the network. It's more inclusive, if you ask me, for DPoS. So now they vote these guys who run the network. So the same way we have mining pools who run the network on Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash or whatever, we have witnesses on Steem who run the network. Now these guys that run the network, they got replaced at an instant. Now I posted this on Facebook, and someone was like, this is centralization. Then I was like, how is that centralization? That's a real proof of decentralization, because I'll explain. The fact that those who run the network can easily be voted out is a good thing. Is a sign that this is decentralization. Now, of course, I'm a big fan of Bitcoin, right? I talk about Bitcoin every day. The mining pools on Bitcoin, how can they easily be taken out? I've never heard of such move before, right? So if you ask me, I would say that is a point of centralization. Now I might be wrong. If you think I'm wrong, just let me know. You can put it in the description, or just type it somewhere. But to me, that's a point of centralization, because they can neither be moved in or moved out easily. So that's not real decentralization, if you ask me. Right, so these witnesses were voted out. Now, how were they voted out? Then I'll tell you why they were voted out, because Justin Sun talked about it recently. How were they voted out? So Justin Sun had, or should I say, Steemit had Steemit Incorporation had an issue, and someone froze the account of Justin Sun, or should I say of Steemit, and they had some huge amount of Steem tokens locked as a result of that. Now, the only way this could be reorganized or redone or solved was to change the current top witnesses. Now, some might also say, isn't that centralization? Well, it's such thing is available on all excuse me, on all blockchains. Well, it's called reorg, right, or 51% attack, right? So it can happen on the Bitcoin network, it can happen on Bitcoin Cash, it can happen on Ethereum, right? So if majority of those who run the network agrees to do something, they're going to do it, right? So in order to solve the problem of that freezing, right, Justin Sun had to talk with some exchanges, including Binance, and said, hey, we have so and so amount of money locked down. I'm going to drop the screenshot in the description so you guys can check. No, I'll drop the link to what Justin Sun said so you guys can check it out. Now, in order to solve that problem, we need to get into power. Now, that's decentralization. So we need to get into power. So what they did was they spoke to these exchanges, and the exchanges agreed, and then they voted their dummy accounts into power to run the network. And after doing what they wanted to do, they now Justin Sun came out and was, okay, this is why we did it. So that was what happened. So Justin Sun bought Steemit and not Steem, and then I think one of the witnesses, those who run the network, wasn't happy about it, or should I say, some of the witnesses were not happy about it. So they froze some amount of money that belonged to Steem, and also, so I heard some belong to the Steem community. And the witnesses, of course, remember I said the witnesses are those who run the network, just same way we have my mining pools. Now the witnesses now got replaced by new witnesses that was formed by Justin Sun and the exchanges in order to solve the problem of the frozen money, you see. And that's definitely what happened. Now the next question that I ask is this a DPoS problem or a blockchain problem as a whole? First of all, is a DPoS problem because it was first done in a DPoS chain, right? So let DPoS take the blame first. Now, secondly, it's a problem for blockchains as a whole. As long as you have, you know, people running things on the network, right? It's possible for there to be conflict of interest. That is why you hear things like 51% attack. So anyone who controls more than 2/3 of the network can actually do whatever he or she wants on the network, right? So it's a blockchain problem as a whole because, for example, you know, I gave a very good example. I said, first of all, on Bitcoin network, this can't happen. Now, the reason why this can't happen is not a good thing; it's a bad thing if you ask me, because now we assume that these top miners, currently about 3 to 4 miners, control over 51% of Bitcoin network. Now we are assuming that these guys are nice and would not try to harm the network. That's an assumption because they are human beings. What if they decide to change one day? Now let's take a very rough scenario. Assuming they change and decide to start doing shit on the network, who can take them out? It won't be that easy. All right, now let me know in the description if I'm right about what I'm saying, but that's basically what happened on Steem. And like I said, it's not a DPoS problem, it's a blockchain problem, and a way to solve this needs to arise, right? Needs to come on. All right guys, thanks. make sure you subscribe. Okay.